Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate Daemonhunters, where, as you've probably realised, because it was a couple of videos ago now, I have finally done that corrupted Eldar Craft World mission. You know, the one that Grandmaster Kai gave me so much shit for in the last Grandmaster's report for not doing. Well, now I've done it, and the Grandmaster's report is due. So he'll have all kinds of good things to say about me and give me lots and lots of support from the armories on Titan, yeah?
Grandmaster, I have uncovered vital knowledge since we last spoke.
I have just been acquainting myself with your recent report. It appears to begin quite innocently with a raid on a Nurgle-infested Eldari craft world. If that weren't enough, I can see this led to the advent of 5 greater demonic entities, heralding, it would appear, a most catastrophic outbreak of the bloom throughout your sector. Just what have you been up to, Inquisitor?
If I could direct you to section CT 2011-5, you would see that—
Enough! I have no more patience for your ivory tower excuses. Commander, you are not without fault in all of this. I demand an immediate explanation.
Let's not throw her under the bus this time.
Indeed, you will certainly need one now that 5 greater demons run rampant in your sector. Explain why you did not destroy them immediately.
I led the exploratory mission. I ordered your brothers to stay their hand while I investigated the Eldari Nexus. The responsibility was mine.
Such unexpected humility. I commend you, Inquisitor. I did not think you capable of it.
If I may, Grandmaster, what is crucial is that I now know how to combat this bloom.
And so it would seem. I read of your plan to use some arcane xenotech to construct a Codex Toxicus, is it? Our chapter is no stranger to the use of foreign relics, but this is highly unorthodox.
There is precedent. I have done my research.
Oh, of that I have little doubt. Wherever you go, Inquisitor, your actions seem to leave a lasting impression. My entire council is in uproar over this news of our missing chapter lord. It seems I have little choice but to continue supporting your operation.
Thank you, Grandma.
For your recklessness, however, I revoke your authority to command the Grey Knights in battle. You may join future combat missions when your talents are needed, but you will follow the Commander's orders henceforth, to the letter.
How could he possibly have known about Drago? I didn't include him in my report.
I told him, of course. The manifestation of the Supreme Grand Master is an unprecedented event.
You could have warned me at least.
I report to the chapter, not to you.
Intercession. This exchange is unproductive. Open collaboration will be necessary to execute this mission efficiently. Our first responsibility is to support the Commander.
You are right, as always, Dominus. My apologies, Commander. I should have consulted with you before informing the Grand Master about Lord Drago.
So, a couple of things to take away from that. The Grandmaster's a bit of a dick. We just did exactly what it was he was giving us so much shit in the last Grandmaster's report for not doing, as a result of which he's cutting off our requisition and locking our armory access. What a twat. I could have, but didn't throw the Inquisitor under the bus, because that would have just meant she would have been pissed off with me as well, and that would have slowed down her rate of research. But yeah, the takeaway from that is that after doing that Eldar Craft World mission, I now have 5 greater demons running rampant around the sector. Purgator Thule is still away on Paladin training and unavailable for missions. And my next objective is to do this research that the Inquisitor was waffling on about, the Codex Toxicus, which will, or should, hopefully, lead us to the location of these 5 greater demons. Something that I'm probably going to need my A-team handy for.
Commander, your prognosticar choir has detected anomalous bloom activity in a nearby system. I would normally recommend we intervene directly, except—
Our prognosticars have been resolute in asserting any such effort would result in complete failure. Strangely, they have identified that only one of our knights is capable of completing the task.
It does seem odd. It is conceivable this anomaly has somehow influenced the predictions of your prognosticars.
If so, it would be utterly without precedent in our order. Yet, I am still wary. The brother in question would surely embrace this opportunity for glory, but we must assume he could be walking into a trap.
And of course, it's my number one killing machine, Interceptor Storm. I think I have to send him.
I will inform our brother at once.
Yeah, if I hadn't, it would have had bad consequences. If I'd sent a squad instead of him, they would have probably all been injured. But as a result of sending him, I now have high support from Grandmaster Kai and +1 requisition point on successful completion of any glorious deeds for the next 45 days. So it's worked out, except I now have to manage without Interceptor Storm for the next 45 days. But...
Commander, I have glorious news. Our brother has returned from his quest and is now a ranking member of the Order of Paladins. He is ready to put his new skills to use in our campaign.
Purgator Thule has returned. And just in time, because we have 4 new Bloomspawn missions popped up. Except he is Purgator Thule no more. He is now Brother Paladin Thule, and Paladins are the ultimate tank class, and the first of the 4 advanced classes that I have access to thus far in the game. And apparently I lucked out, because I didn't know it at the time when I sent him off for his Paladin training, but apparently a bunch of you have said in the comments of the previous video that you sent your brothers off for Paladin training and they didn't come back alive. So I guess I kind of lucked out there. So I've spent his promotion points. He's a rank 7 Paladin. He has 6 bonus armor, 22 health and 8 willpower. Yeah. Willpower's kind of low, but I'm liking that 22 health. And remember, he is only rank 7, there are 2 further ranks to go, but I haven't fitted him out with equipment yet. And now, of course, I have access to purity seals, so I can improve master crafted equipment. As well as equip him with the Paladin's signature ranged weapon, which is not actually a ranged weapon. It's a shield. And then, shortly after, for some bizarre reason known only to himself, Grandmaster Kai decides to take some time off from being a dick.
It has come to my attention that your previous campaign stripped the edict of its most venerable knights. It seems this bloom will not be purged quickly, so I shall do what I can to remedy the deficit from now on. That said, I must balance your desires against the needs of other campaigns, so tell me, what skills would best help your cause?
Yep, the miserable old git is giving me another advanced class for free, but I can only choose one of them. Purifiers tend to specialise in short-range flamers. No, I can do without that. I don't want another Paladin. Librarian or Chaplain? It's a tough choice.
The most psychically adept. Yes, we will have a use for him.
I've selected Brother Librarian Tarek Foros. Now, Librarians. Each Marine chapter has a complement of Librarians. They're Psychers, but the Grey Knights are all Psychers, so a Grey Knight Librarian is an especially powerful Psyker. Unfortunately, he's only rank 1, so I'm going to have to train him up and kind of throw him in a bit at the deep end. At the very least, he doesn't have to go in with noob equipment. I have a, even though it's only tier 1, master-crafted storm bolter for him. And I did pick up this warding stave, which is very nice, and I can equip and upgrade at least some of it to give bonus resistance, because I've got plenty of Poxus seeds. I've got 8 of these yellow seeds. Bonus crit is nice as well. I'll blow some of them on that. So that's his melee weapon and his range weapon. Now for his Terminator Armor. I have a couple of spare sets of tier 1 mastercrafted Terminator Armor. Bonus armor, bonus willpower. What about this one? Just the bonus armor. Well, he is a Psyker, he's going to be using a lot of willpower, so we'll upgrade this. I don't have any of the blue seeds though to give him additional bonus willpower. That's a shame. But I do have a couple of spare yellow seeds that I can burn and convert into purity seals to give him a bit of extra armour. And then, as I'm on my way to Brother Librarian Foros's first mission, more good news.
He has returned from his solitary mission with glorious results. It seems there was a plague surgeon developing a novel method of spore dispersal. Our brother eliminated his cult before sending his soul to eternal damnation. I can see the experience was bracing. He has returned stronger and wiser than before.
Intercept the Storm is back, and he's learned a new ability, Sure Strike, which is a passive ability that gives him +1 damage on all of his crits. But despite the length of time I've waited for Interceptor Storm to return to active duty, I'm actually not going to choose him for this next mission, because I really need to get this brand new Librarian up to full strength. So I'm going to accept this glorious deed to kill 9 enemies with melee weapons. That shouldn't be too difficult. Going in with a squad of fully Terminator Armored Marines, including the new Librarian. We're going in with Justicar Iolanthus, because he's been sitting on the bench for far too long, Apothecary Han, Paladin Thule, and the new boy, Librarian Foros.
Our prognosticators have augured a rampant outbreak of the bloom following the battle underway here.
Our goal, Commander, is a rapid intervention and strike. Extract or destroy the foul seeds below before they take root.
Nice simple mission. I like nice simple missions. Get the seed carriers, and they are blue and yellow seeds. Seeds that I either don't have any of or I'm running very short on, so this is all good. Usual procedure, trying to keep the squad together until we initiate contact. And hang on a minute, that guy has a plasma gun. I haven't seen that before. I do not like the look of that. Is this some kind of new enemy? What on earth is he doing? Assault orders? Yeah. Okay, this bears further investigation. So this guy's just a regular Plague Marine. I mean, just a regular Plague Marine. Nothing new there. These guys are starting to get a lot of health, though. And 5 armor? My guys in Terminator Armor don't have that much. Well, not all of them. Oh, here we go. Plague Champion. Kill Order, Assault Order, Endure Order. This is basically the Chaos version of a Chaplain. They're there for morale support. They're very, very tanky, as you can tell by the fact that he has 16 health and 7 armor. And they basically encourage and lead the troops around them by giving them buffs that allow them to do even nastier things. Marine Chaplains are pretty much the same, although I can't show you that yet because I do not yet have a Marine Chaplain, but don't worry, I will. Right, this guy's a regular Plague Marine, but he's a Plague Marine with a hazard spray, and they're pretty nasty, because remember I have to kill 9 enemies with melee weapons here. So if I just dogpile one of them, or 2 of them, and beat the shit out of them, and one of the 2 is not the guy with the Plague Spreader, he'll hit everybody with it on his turn. So I kind of need to ensure that he either dies first or isn't in a position to hit us. But I kind of also need to do the same with the champion, because he's got a plasma gun and he's buffing the entire squad. Now, one of the things that Librarian Foros can do is teleport, in the same way that Interceptor Storm could teleport. But what makes the Librarian's teleport different is that if you warp charge it and spend additional willpower, it turns into a Gate of Infinity. Almost exactly the same as the Gate of Infinity stratagem, which allows you to teleport your entire squad of Marines once per battle, anywhere within line of sight. But it's better than the stratagem, because if you use the Gate of Infinity stratagem, it costs every member of your squad 1 action point, and you can only use it once. The Librarian's Gate of Infinity doesn't cost everybody 1 action point, and you can use it as many times during a battle as the Librarian has willpower. Sadly, Brother Librarian Foros is a massive noob. He's only rank 1, so he doesn't have the promotion points to spend on upgrading his teleport with the warp charge to turn it into a Gate of Infinity. At least not yet. Since Paladin Thule is the tank, I want him to be as close as possible, so he'll be the one that everybody attacks. Managed to stack a crit on this Plague Marine, which has disabled his melee weapon, and now... Well, actually, he does have a spare action point, so we'll go ahead and hit him again. Not going to kill him, of course. And his final action point is going to be used to... Oh, do we want to kill him? I could get Paladin Thule to defend here, which would probably get a reaction kill against that Marine in the enemy turn. Or I could kill him now and not defend. But can anybody else take care of him? The short answer to that is no. Everybody else who can use their available action points to move up into a position where they have line of sight either doesn't have enough action points to be able to shoot once they've moved to that position, or they would be in such a position where, due to range and cover penalties, their shot would actually do no damage. So instead I have to try to make the most of a bad deal by moving Apothecary Han up as close as I can and still have an action point left, and then try to hit this guy with the Plague Spreader. Or maybe, oh, I don't know. That would stun and knock him back. Remember, if I execute somebody who's stunned, everybody gets an action point. And Paladin Thule still has an action point. Execute. Nicely done. I was originally going to use the grenade to blow the Plague Spreader further back and hopefully out of line of fire. But now I have more options. Yeah, I'm just going to defend here. Hopefully the champion will go for Paladin Thule. And defending doesn't cost any willpower, it just costs an action point. So, one action point left on everybody. What can I do with one action point? Iolanthus can basically just lay down Overwatch. Brother Thoros already has Overwatch. I could still use that other grenade. And what I originally planned to do with Apothecary Han, or I could just set Overwatch. Yeah, we'll go for that. Bit concerned about the Plague Spreader. Oh, why? Well, okay, so Paladin Thule takes a plasma pistol shot, but he has so much armor, it basically just shrugs it off. Iolanthus gets inflicted with a vulnerability. This guy appears to walk through 2 different zones of Overwatch without actually taking any Overwatch fire for a melee strike on Iolanthus, which fortunately Iolanthus resists the affliction that it attempted to generate. And now it's my turn. So, Paladin Thule, get over there and smack this guy in the face. You'll note that Paladin Thule is using the Storm Shield and a Force Sword. Marines in Terminator Armor can equip 2-handed weapons in one hand. So something like, I don't know, a Demon Hammer or a Force Halberd would be doing a lot more damage than a single-handed weapon. Don't worry, I'll figure that out sooner rather than later. In the meantime, let's disable his ranged weapon. I really don't like the look of that plasma pistol. And we do get one more attack. It's probably not going to kill... It's definitely not going to kill him. Whatever. We just have to take care of this guy with the Plague Spreader, and the rest of the boys can help him out. So, Iolanthus. Yeah, Iolanthus is vulnerable to crits at the moment, but that only happens in the enemy turn. If you kill all of the enemies, they don't get to take advantage of your vulnerability. So, let's just kill all of the enemies. I do want the Librarian to be the one to get the kill, though, because he's the one that needs the experience. So, the new boy gets the kill, gets the experience, recovers a willpower point for getting the kill. And we can actually get a melee attack off against... let's see if Iolanthus can do anything from here. Yeah, he's not going to do a lot of damage with his Stormbolter because of the range and cover penalties. We can at least do some. Because again, I want the Librarian to be the one to get the kills here. Right, can he actually get the kill now? He's probably going to have to Force Strike it. And that should get the kill. Get in there, my son. Go on, brother. Stomp him. Yeah, that'll teach him not to return his books on time. Get it? Because he's a Librarian. I'll get my coat. That was just a patrol, by the way. This is the first group of seed carriers. And these Blight Haulers always get a reaction cover shot off. when you first encounter them. Unfortunately, it blew away the cover between it and Iolanthus, which included all of the oil drums, which have now set a burning hazard directly between the Blight Hauler and the rest of my boys. First thing I'm going to do, however, is use the Extractor Servo Skull to get that seed. And I now have advanced extraction research, which means I get double the number of seeds every time I do this. Next, I can't help but notice that that Marine on the corner is taking cover behind a bunch of plasma cells. So Apothecary Han is ideally placed to be able to move up and still have enough action points left to take a shot with his Stormbolter and teach that guy on the corner the error of his ways. Next, I really am starting to feel the lack of Intercept the Storm's teleport strike ability. Although it's really only more of a problem at the moment because Librarian Foros is only rank 1 and he doesn't have the Gate of Infinity upgrade for his teleport ability. However, I do still have Honor the Chapter on Iolanthus, so he's used that on Paladin Thule. He's going to charge in and force strike the Blight Hauler before it can make use of its ranged abilities. Give it a good old smack with a power sword. One more regular hit will carve off all of its remaining armour and leave it on 4 health. I could force strike it and it would leave it on 3 health, but it seems like a waste of a willpower point. Because, yeah, I don't actually need to spend any willpower here. He has 2 more action points, 2 more hits will kill it. So we'll just go ahead and do a regular hit. Oh, and he's gotten a crit. Not that it actually matters, because the next hit's going to kill it, and I can't stun it. It's immune to stuns, so I can blind it, disable a ranged weapon, break all of the armour that it doesn't actually have left, immobilise it. I have to pick one, so we'll go ahead and blind it. That's now carved off all of its armour, it only has 2 remaining health, and it can just kill it in 1 hit. Right, so that leaves the 2 Marines around the corner. And again, my problem here is that everybody's just too far away. I've gotten so used to using Intercept the Storm's teleport strike ability to close the distance and carve up huge groups of enemies that I'm really struggling to adapt my tactics. Again though, this is a strictly short-term problem, because once I get the new boy trained up, the Librarian, he'll be able to just cast Gate of Infinity and teleport the entire squad at will. It's a pain in the arse at the moment though. So Iolanthus is going to set up Overwatch. And I'm just going to move the Librarian up into good cover next to Paladin Thule. Enemy turn. Now this really pisses me off. That corner is covered by Overwatch. But the Plague Marine walks up to and stops short of the corner and then fires his hazard spray through it without triggering the Overwatch. I mean, the second Plague Marine takes a couple of hits. Overwatch working as intended, but this isn't the first time I've seen Overwatch not do what it's supposed to do. Anyway, there are the other 2 patrols, which are also the other 2 seed carriers, although they're not close enough to get involved in this particular combat. Gloom Risers, warp meter goes up to 80%. Let's start getting some kills here, shall we? Iolanthus is on kind of low health, but he's standing right next to Apothecary Han, so that ain't going to be too much of a problem. Now, I really do like this particular Justicar ability. We're going to move him up to right in between these 2. Rend the Unclean, and it basically strikes everybody around him and does a knockback. So that kills the regular Plague Marine, and the guy with the hazard spray gets knocked back and suffers a ton of damage. I'd like to get the kill with the Librarian. Don't need a full strike because he's going to get to hit him twice. He's close enough. There's 1. 2 health remaining. Hit him again. Done. 1 group of seed carriers down. Tons of experience for the new boy. 2 groups of seed carriers to go. Before we start, however, let's get Iolanthus healed up, because it's not a problem. Apothecary Han is right there, and he still, despite getting drained by that hazard spray attack, has 2/3 of his willpower left. So healing is not an issue. And now for the second group of seed carriers. And once again, it's a couple of Plague Marines and a Blight Hauler. Although the Blight Haulers aren't particularly smart, they just walk right through that stack of plasma cells. They do this a lot more than you'd expect. So that stripped most of its armour off, as well as most of the armour of the Marine who was standing next to him. It gets its cover shot off, removes any cover between me and them. There's the third and final group of seed carriers. Hopefully too far away to get involved in this. Have you noticed how, since taking on the Eldar Craftworld mission, we're getting a lot more of... Well, we're getting new enemies for a start. I haven't seen Plague Champions before. There's a lot more of these Blight Haulers. Can you remember the days when I would run into a Plague Marine amidst a group of cultists and it would be, oh shit, it's a Plague Marine. And now a Plague Marine is the least of my problems. And it's going to start getting worse. We haven't actually seen any Death Guard Plague Marine Terminators yet. Or Chaos Spawn. Or Dreadnoughts. Trust me, they are out there. We just haven't seen any yet. Right, the seed carrier is out of range of everybody's servo skulls, which is a bit of a problem. I don't really want to kill it before extracting it, because I need those blue skulls. So we're going to honour the chapter on the good paladin. Yeah, that crate of plasma cells. We can hit from here, but it's not useful. There's nothing in range of the blast. So the good paladin is now up to 5 action points after having Honour the Chapter used on him, but I think it's high time I actually started using some of these stratagems. So Gate of Infinity to get everybody over there. And this of course is the stratagem version of Gate of Infinity, which is really good, but it does cost everybody 1 action point when you use it. Unlike the Librarian's version of Gate of Infinity, which does not. We've extracted the seed before we start carving everybody up. Now, who's going first? We may as well start using Paladin Fool, because he does have all of those action points. So let's start carving stuff up, starting with this Plague Marine at the back. Oh, and we've gotten a crit. We'll go for +1 stun, although he's probably going to be dead before we can stun him. In fact, he is going to be dead before we can stun him. 3 action points remaining. Let's start carving up the remaining armour and health on this Blight Hauler. Yeah, I know, I really should have been letting the newborn get all of these kills for all that bonus experience, but I was just getting carried away in the moment. A little bit too carried away, actually, because I ended up miscalculating what it was going to take to kill this Plague Champion. Iolanthus smacks him with the halberd, but this guy's got a lot of health. Thule still has an action point left. Smacks him with a Force Sword. Here comes the Librarian. Remember, Gate of Infinity, as a stratagem, deducts 1 action point from each of your Marines, and if that hadn't happened, this would have worked. But it took 1 action point to move to melee range, 1 action point to actually hit him with the Librarian, and it's going to be the same for Apothecary Harm. And that Plague Champion has 6 health left. So he actually survives this. The Librarian has a 25% chance to trigger an Aegis shield for free at the end of every turn. The Plague Champion takes a pop at Iolanthus, which is kind of rude, and then half of the squad batter him into submission for daring to do so. Literally, he's not dead, but he is stunned. So, I think Librarian Foros should take the kill. It's going to be an execution, of course. Not that it matters. I mean, everybody gets 1 action point for the execution. I have to move Fool out of the way so Foros can do it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and execute him, but this will end combat, and how about that for an execution animation? Yeah. I really love Librarians. So, 2 seed carriers down, 1 to go. And we have done the glorious deed and killed 9 enemies with melee weapons. Oh, and there is a Plague Seed just there, and Iolanthus is low on willpower, so I'm going to send him up there to get it. I need to keep his Honour the Chapter ability ready to go. And warp charging it requires 4 willpower, so he now has exactly 4 willpower. And as luck would have it, the final group of seed carriers is heading this way. Well, that's jolly nice of them, isn't it? It's here where I ran into what I can only describe as a bug, and it could have been an extremely costly one. Here's the final patrol. Well, the final group of seed carriers. See the high ground that I just moved Iolanthus into? Right as the Blight Hauler targets an area for mass destruction. Yeah, remember that. Remember the high ground that I moved Iolanthus into, not the area that the Blight Hauler has just targeted for a mortar barrage.
Well done, my brothers. However, the Plague God's minions converge on your location. Hold your ground until the Dominants teleport you from the surface.
So I've got the seed, the mission is technically complete. But now I have to wait for extraction while the reinforcements are warping in. And the 2 warp gates have arrived more or less behind me, but that's okay, that's no problem. I can just charge forward, engage these guys, and then keep moving. And the reinforcements will never catch me. 3 turns, no problem. I'm going to use the Quicksilver stratagem on Paladin Thule. Gives him an extra 2 action points. If I need to, I can honour the chapter as well. We're going to give him Warp Speed Biomancy, courtesy of Apothecary Harm. That's going to increase his movement. And give him extra crit damage, turning him into an unstoppable juggernaut. So, there's no point in saving the willpower anymore. We'll go ahead and force strike. This is the end of the mission. Absolutely hack up this first Marine. Yeah, we'll force strike him again. And now he's stunned, so we can execute him and give everybody an additional action point. Everything's going quite well so far, isn't it? Let's take care of the Blight Holder. Still have 3 action points. We'll use the Hammer Hand ability to get a crit, and we will warp charge it to absolutely smack the shit out of this Blight Holder. I think we'll go for the Armor Ray, which has actually killed it outright. And he still has 2 action points left. So, I mean, Paladin Thule has basically mostly single-handedly wiped out this entire group of seed carriers. He uses the Smite ability, which is his only ranged ability, and with his final action point, carves that Plague Marine to within an inch of his life, allowing me to get the kill for bonus XP on Librarian Phoros. So there we go. Now I just need to get everybody else over here, and I can just keep moving and get out of the way of the reinforcements, or pick the most advantageous position to set up an ambush for them. So where are they coming from? Over there and over there. Alright, no problem. Bonus action points for everybody because of the execute. So let's pick some positions, and we're just going to move everybody away from the reinforcements. So that's Thule and Phoros. Let's move Apothecary Harn over. And now for Brother Iolanthus. Wait, why can't I move him? What's going on? Brother Iolanthus is stuck. He was able to climb up there with no problems whatsoever, but I cannot move him off. And I've used the Gate of Infinity stratagem, so I can't teleport him off. Oh, and there's actually another Marine over there that I completely forgot about. Shit. And he has a hazard spray. Alright, that one's on me. But Iolanthus being stuck on the high ground over here is not my fault. So I have to back him up, otherwise there's an excellent chance he's going to die as 2 waves of reinforcements exit those warp gates and just dogpile him, because I can't move him out of there. Well, I mean, he won't die, he's a Grey Knight. They'll reduce him to 0 health, and he'll suffer a critical wound, which will put him out of action for months. Well, maybe not months, I do have a fairly well-equipped Apothecarian. But it's something I could do without, and something I shouldn't have to deal with, because I should be able to move him. But the game's decided I can't, so I'm going to have to deal with this. Aegis shield, I think, because he's about to be the subject of lots of unwanted attention. Enemy turn. Yeah. Oh, affliction resisted. Ah. Is that all you've got? No, it's not. That is a Blight Lord Terminator with an assault cannon. And over here, another Blight Lord Terminator with an assault cannon. And a couple of Plague Marines. Oh, and here's the Warp Surge. And now they're gaining beneficial mutations. And his grenades now have a bigger blast area. He's getting more armor. His attacks are going to drain willpower. Well, shit. And Iolanthus can't do anything because they're all out of range. So, right, what can everybody else do? Well, we're going to take care of that guy for sure. So, let's get the Apothecary over and start softening him up. We'll do that again. Can we do it again? Oh, is he out of action? He's out of action. Right. Let's get the Librarian over there. Yeah, we may as well force strike. This guy needs to die quick. Ooh, +1 stun. That's actually quite useful. So he's stunned. We can now execute him. Doesn't need to be a force strike. He's dead in one hit. And again, I really do love these Librarian execution animations. Yeah, that's going to leave a mark. So bonus action point for everybody. Not that Iolanthus can actually do anything with them other than Aegis Shield and Overwatch. And let's get everybody over here, because Iolanthus will die without support. So that bonus action point is really going to help Paladin Thule. We can make it over here and still have one action point left. And then maybe set up some Overwatch or defend. Or Aegis Shield. Hopefully they're going to go for him and not Iolanthus. Well, not Aegis Shield actually. I mean, we're going to Aegis Shield the shit out of Iolanthus, but because that's really all we can do with him. That and maybe set up some Overwatch and hope that somebody runs into it, but I'm pretty sure that this Terminator's assault cannon can reach him from right where he is, and his attacks are going to drain willpower. So Iolanthus is just going to have to try to tank as much as possible. Aegis Shield will give him 6 armor, although hang on, I can honour the chapter on Paladin Thule. We will warp charge that, because there's no point in saving the willpower at this point. So that gives him 3 action points and more willpower. What's this guy? Hazard Spray Plague Marine. Yeah, and a Terminator right behind him. Well, let's try to do as much damage to this fellow as we possibly can. He still has 4 spare willpower, we may as well use it. And at least protect 1 flank. That's carved his armour off, he's down to 10 health. We're going to force strike this. And murderize him. And he still has 1 action point left, so we're going to defend. And I'll warp charge this. This is going to give him a metric ass ton of bonus armour. And knock back and damage anybody that moves into his defensive zone. Iolanthus is going to set up... Oh, he can't quite reach... There's a plasma cell right there, and it's just out of range. Oh well. Let's move the rest of the boys up. We'll figure out what we're going to do with Iolanthus, although I suspect it's going to be... It's going to be Aegis Shield and just try to tank the damage from the Blightlord Terminator's assault cannon. And we'll set up Overwatch for what it's worth, but I'm pretty sure... Well, actually, no, the Plague Bearer will have to run into melee range, so that might work. Thule's going after the Blightlord Terminator, who wandered into his defensive zone. He hits back, but Thule has so much armour, he just shrugs it off. Here it comes. Iolanthus, taking it on the chin like a boss. Now the Plague Bearer, please run into that Overwatch. Oh, and of course the Plague Bearer doesn't run straight towards the nearest melee target. It goes around the Overwatch. The bloom rises to 40%, not a problem. My turn. Right. Paladin Thule, would you please beat 7 different shades of shit out of this Blightlord Terminator? Unfortunately, he just doesn't quite have enough willpower left to warp charge the Hammer Hand crit strike. Yeah, I think we're going to go for an armor break, because that guy is basically a tank. And yeah, we'll just hit him again. Completely out of willpower. So a regular hit it is. But he's got 1 action point left, and sadly, it's not going to be enough to kill him. The smite attack isn't going to kill him either. I wonder if I should maybe just defend? Yeah, we'll do that. The Terminator will attack him next turn and will not get through his armour. Right, Iolanthus, you can you even shoot this guy? Unfortunately, that crate of plasma cells is still out of range, and the Plague Bearer is in hard cover, so all I can do is Aegis Shield again, and set up Overwatch and hope the Plague Bearer runs into it this time. Right. Librarian Foros can teleport to over there, which covers way more distance than a regular move. And only costs the 1 action point. He still isn't quite in range of that plasma cell. But can I expend one of his 2 remaining action points to move him to where he has line of sight and range to shoot that plasma cell? And no. Bollocks. No, I'm afraid not. Alright, fair enough. I may as well just move him up into cover. That's all I can really do. And I don't have... Yep, I've used all of my stratagems. The Quicksilver would have come in nice here. I could have given him an extra 2 action points and then taken care of the plasma cell. And maybe also taken a shot at the Plague Bearer, but sadly not. And if I teleported Foros all the way over there and still wasn't in range to do anything useful, there is no way Apothecary Han is going to be able to cover even more distance on foot and still be able to do anything useful. So the best I can do with him is just move him up and hope he can be of use on the next turn. Of course, the bad guys get to go first. And the first Blight Lord Terminator, because he started inside Paladin Thul's defense zone, takes a hit as he exits. Doesn't get knocked back though because he's in Terminator Armor. And the second Blight Lord Terminator actually moves up. That's good news. Once again, Iolanthus' Aegis shield helps him take it on the chin. Oh, a grenade. Yeah. Oh well, nothing we can do about it. Finally, the Plague Bearer actually triggers somebody's Overwatch. Doesn't die from it, but doesn't matter because that's it.
All active Astartes recovered. Beginning teleportation.
So that ended up being way harder than it needed to be, thanks to a bug with Iolanthus getting stuck on ground that he was easily able to walk onto, but wasn't able to walk off of. Still, everybody survived, with minor wounds, and the new boy earned a shit ton of experience, because we basically let him steal all of the kills. So, first things first. Armory Access. What are we getting? Bunch of seeds. Did the glorious deed. So 4 requisition points. And they're the seeds that we needed. 15 servitors. The corruption level on the planet has been reduced to 0. And let's see what we can buy with our, admittedly, low number of requisition points from the Armory. So, first things first. A rank 5 Justicar. Nah, don't need more Justicars. That Stormbolter is actually, it's not that good. I mean, it's not bad, it's got extra range and more crit damage, but nah. That Force Sword, on the other hand, is amazing. Look at all of the bonus crit, and crit damage, and automatic parry. That is really tempting. I mean, I know I should be saving up my requisition points for tier 3 mastercrafted weapons, but that is a very nice sword. Yeah, we're going to take it. Or actually, we'll come back to it. Let's have a look at this Terminator Armor. Oh man, look at all the bonus willpower. An immunity to willpower drain, as well as bonus armor. All of that bonus willpower. I can just imagine Librarian Foros in that set of Terminator Armor. That is very tempting. But I only have 5 requisition left. The final item, the War Gear, just gives extra crit damage on melee attacks. Yeah, I'm having that sword and I'm having that armor. Those are both very nice. Now for the promotions. Yep, Librarian Foros received a promotion or 2. Hopefully 2. Let's find out. How many ability points? 4 ability points, that's 2 promotions. Right. Where are we going to spend these? Well, first I'm seeing some bonus willpower there, and he really needs that. And there's more bonus willpower up there. We'll put a pin in that for the moment and come back to it. Up here is his Warp Surge Discipline. The Librarians actually get the option of reducing the current Warp Surge meter. Over here is the Smite Discipline. It's a ranged psychic attack. It's not terrible. But it's, in my opinion, not the best use of your Librarian's abilities. The thing is, going through the Smite Discipline leads to the Warp Vortex Discipline up here, where he casts a Vortex of Doom, which is basically a psychic grenade. Imagine throwing a grenade that costs willpower over a large area that doesn't do 3 damage, it does 8 once it's upgraded. I'm not too concerned about the warp charge upgrade on it, which just does bonus effects against mechanicals, but there is also a willpower upgrade there as well. So over here is upgrades to his Storm Bolter. Again, I don't really care about any of that, it's just crit damage. I'm not buffing the Storm Bolter on a Librarian, that's not what they're for. This is his Aegis Shield Discipline, which, as you'd expect, improves the power of his Aegis Shield. Over here you have his Sanctuary Discipline, which isn't bad, it gives bonus armor to all knights in the area. But here's where it's at, the Teleport Discipline. Gate of Infinity. When you warp charge it, it teleports the entire squad and doesn't cost everybody an action point. Unlike the Stratagem version, which also only has one use, and I can further increase the range. So, yeah, we're doing that. So that is Brother Librarian Foros, a valuable addition to the team, I'm sure you'll agree. And that is all I have time for today. In fact, it's all I have time for the next week, because if you hadn't already heard the news, I'm having significant additions built to the house starting tomorrow. I'll be losing my internet access for at least the first 2 days until I can get reconnected, and after that I'm going to be too busy building beds and wardrobes and all kinds of stuff to have any time to do a video. And this is the first time off I've taken since Christmas, so I figure I've earned it. So, I'll see you all probably next week, Wednesday at the earliest, although if that situation changes, I will be sure to let you all know via social media. In the meantime, as always, be pure, be vigilant, behave.